A complete copy has not come up for sale for some time, but when it does, we're talking tens of millions of dollars, I have no doubt.
Rarest book in the world.
If you're talking about what printed books are the most valuable, then one's talking about the sort of great rarities like the Gutenberg Bible, which is the first book with movable type printed in the West from 1455. That's a hugely valuable book. A complete copy has not come up for sale for some time, but when it does, we're talking tens of millions of dollars, I have no doubt. A book like the Shakespeare First Folio, which is the first collected edition of Shakespeare's plays, published in 1624. Not a rare book in absolute terms. There are some 200 copies in different libraries around the world, but the last copy of that to come up for auction, the last complete copy of that to come up for auction, sold in New York a couple of years ago now, for a shade under $10 million.
This one just came in. Are there rare books that aren't old? What would make a book published recently rare?
Yes. Well, the same things that make a book that was published 200 years ago rare. You need a limited supply and an extraordinary high demand. And a great example of that is a book published in 1997 called Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, which was written by a totally unknown author, published in extremely small numbers. The first edition was published in hardback and paperback. There were only 500 hardbacks printed. Now that's a small supply even for a book that's only 25 years old. And that initial scarcity, or apparent scarcity, combined with the extraordinary popularity of those books, has made first editions of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone extremely valuable books. And I mean, I'm talking about copies selling for six-figure sums.
How can only 500 copies of that book be made at the...
Because...
Like, that seems like nothing.
Well, at the time, Bloomsbury, who were the publishers who took it on, were a relatively, certainly compared to where they are now, a relatively small publishing house. One has to be economical in the first print run of a book, see if it finds an audience, and then go big on a second print run, especially when you're talking about a debut novel with no track record. So that's not an uncommon thing to happen. An author's first book will almost always be their rarest. And it's for that reason, you know, publishers being uncertain of its popularity. But I have to say that is
very quickly.
That is a unique phenomenon in modern publishing. You know, there are very, very few books published in the entire 20th century that are of an equivalent value, monetarily. So if you were one of the very lucky people who happened to buy a first edition of Harry Potter when it first came out, then all power to you. But, you know, there might not be an equivalent phenomenon in the next 100 years.